All right, welcome back. So last week we dove in a little bit and explained kind of why reviews are such an important part of every local business and honestly any business even when they're not local. Reviews are today's day and age. It's how people understand if what they're reading is actually true or if that's just what the company is wanting you to think. And so you always have to look into the reviews, regardless of what you're going for. And so it is of extreme importance that you focus on your business's reviews. And today we're going to jump in and I'm going to show you exactly how we set up review management for our clients. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it for your business as well. Many of you guys might be thinking, well, I've already got a CRM and they already send out a message to our clients as soon as we do the work. And while this is better than not doing anything at all, in all reality, you're still missing out on a ton of new reviews, which means ultimately you're missing out on a ton of revenue. And the reason why is because people are busy. So Housecall Pro or Service Titan or whatever, it's gonna send your customers a text message as soon as you complete your service. Well, guess what? Maybe as soon as you got done with your service, maybe the customer had to run to the store real quick or something, or maybe they've been waiting on you to leave so that they could go pick up their kids from school or what have you. People are busy, people have things that they need to do. And so you send them a text message right now and they get it, but they're not in a position to actually be able to leave you a well thought out review. We have to catch these people we have to catch your customers when they have the time and the ability to leave you a review. So you'll dramatically increase how many reviews you get if you just ask a few more times. And I'm going to show you exactly how we set that up and how we can turn off. I'm going to show you Housecall Pro today. So I'm going to show you how we turn off the Housecall Pro reviews because, by the way, we don't need Housecall Pro reviews. We just want Google, maybe some Facebook reviews, but primarily we're looking for Google reviews because we want to tell Google that we're the business that people should be calling when they're running searches for businesses just like ours. So our primary goal is getting Google reviews in. I'm going to show you exactly how we set it up, and I'm going to jump right in right here. Now, I apologize. I'm not planning on editing this video much. We're running a little bit late on time. I just recently upgraded my computer and completely forgot about the fact that the laptop that I had been running on has a built-in camera with it. And so I have not had a webcam and I just ordered a new camera. And so we're going to hook in and I'm going to go ahead and start showing you, but like I said, we're going to just run right through this. We're going to, as Bill O'Reilly would say, we're just going to effing do it live, right? So that's what we're going to do. Let's do it live. So first and foremost, we already know we have a CRM and we're going to try to connect that in to our GoHighLevel system so that we can send out texts and emails to our previous customers as they come along. Okay. And so we're going to jump in. We're going to connect Housecall Pro to GoHighLevel. And we're going to do it via an application called Zapier. Okay. To immediately start things off, well, the first thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to go into our CRM, whether that be Housecall Pro, that be Service Titan, that be Jobber, that be whatever. Now, it is important to note that you must be on a plan within your CRM that allows API connection. What I'm going to show you is on Housecall Pro. Housecall Pro, I believe it's like the $250 a month plan and above gives you API connectivity. We're going to click into our Housecall Pro. We're going to click up in here in the top where it says My Apps. When you click into that, we're going to go to App Store. Okay. Once you get to the App Store, that's where I was at right there. So once you're in the App Store, we're going to come up here and we're going to type in Zapier. As you'll see, it's already showing as active. Yours won't be active, but you're going to need to turn it active. I'm going to blur this out, but make sure that you turn it active. And what we're looking for is we're going to get our API key for our Zapier integration. And so that is, we're going to need to copy and paste that. So then from that point, we'll copy it. All right. So now that we have copied our API key for Housecall Pro, we're going to go to Zapier.com, Zapier.com, and I'll leave a link down below. And we're just, and this will be free up until so many that you're doing in a month. So I don't know the exact number. I think maybe you get 75 free credits every month, something like that. Maybe it's less, maybe it's more, but it's also relatively cheap to buy an annual pack or a monthly subscription. I think it's costing like it's like $20 a month, and that's pretty much all you would need for a single business. Okay, so we're going to come over here. We're going to click create, and we're going to hit create a new Zap. All right, we're going to go ahead and name this something like. Always want to name it something, so we do something like Housecall Pro to GHL, something like that, right? Okay. Now, once we've named it, our trigger, we already know is going to be Housecall Pro, because what's going to happen, the reason why this is our trigger, as they call it, is what's going to start this whole thing off. What's going to trigger it is going to be when a job is marked as completed inside Housecall Pro. So Housecall Pro will be our trigger. So we'll click into that. And then your trigger event, new completed job, new scheduled job. So we're going to do completed job because we want them to have already experienced our service, right? All right. So we have new completed job. And then our account is, we're going to connect a new account. It's going to pop up and ask for the API key. Now, hopefully you know exactly where this API key is because we just pulled this up over in our Housecall Pro. So you pop back over to Housecall Pro, you take that copy and you paste it. All right. And then once you have connected that, we're going to click continue and we're going to go ahead and test this connection just to make sure. And so we're going to test the trigger. It should pull in jobs from your Housecall Pro if this works correct. We're going to go ahead and click in on one of these jobs. That should show all of your customer information. Make sure that it is completely filled out as much as possible. If not, try to get another job because this information will be utilized in the next steps. Okay. So then we'll just continue with that selected record. Okay. Now, what is the next step? So we already know we've just completed the job in Housecall Pro. We're sending the signal to GoHighLevel. All right, GoHighLevel come in here, and GoHighLevel is considered lead connector. That is how it is, all one word. That's how we connect leads from GoHighLevel to Housecall Pro or Zapier, basically. All right, so once we have selected lead connector, now this is going to be our GoHighLevel. Okay, so what do we want to happen? Well, we're trying to build this out for getting new reviews in. So every time that this fires, we want to ask somebody for a review in our GoHighLevel system. So exactly how we're going to do this is we are going to, you can do this multiple ways, but how we're going to do it is we're going to add the lead to a workflow. Okay. And we're going to pause right here because now we're going to go jump over into GoHighLevel so that we can figure out exactly how we want to do this. Okay. So in order to show you how this works, I'm going to try to do a broad overview of how the flow customer journey is going to go through our review request. Okay. Just try to follow along. I apologize if we're going too in depth here or if I'm not making complete sense, but we've just sent a customer an invoice and have marked the job as completed inside Housecall Pro, that information, customer information, all the customer information gets captured in Housecall Pro. We're going to shoot it to Zapier. And then Zapier, we're able to distribute that information everywhere that we need to distribute it. Okay. Where we're distributing it currently is we're going to send it into GoHighLevel. We're going to have GoHighLevel create a contact. We're going to have GoHighLevel start up automations to send this customer through our review request journey. Okay. To put it as simply as possible, we will build out automations inside GoHighLevel that will do all the work. Zapier is just connecting the two entities. Okay. All right. How our customer journey begins is we start just a pure review campaign. Okay. So what you're looking at, or what you're about to be looking at, is the automation that does the work. There are going to be some things on the back end I'm going to explain here in a second. So we look immediately, just like in Zapier, we have a trigger here. So what starts this whole process? Okay. This is what's going to start our process. We have contact tag request review has been added. So anytime you go to a contact and you add a tag of a request review, it will automatically shoot them into this automation. Okay. What you do from here is entirely up to you. Typically, I do put a wait period just to make sure that they've paid their invoice, that they're not unhappy, that, something weird has happened. You can send this out immediately. This also gives us a chance to say, oh, whoops, I didn't mean to add that tag on that person. That rarely ever happens, but the buffer is there just in case. So after the tag has been added of request review, we're going to go ahead and send them a text, and we send them an email asking for the review. Okay. While we're asking, this is just going to be the broad overview. I apologize. Like, if you don't understand, I'm going to go over it more in depth here in a second. We're going to send the first text. We're going to send the first email. They all have what is known as a trigger link. What this means is if a customer clicks on this link, it shoots a signal back to the system letting you know they clicked on that link, so that we can rip them the hell out of there, so we're not continually sending them stuff even though they've already clicked to leave a review. Because we can probably assume if they click to leave a review, they either left a review or they were unable to leave a review. But either way, they probably don't want to be hammered over the next few days. Leave me a damn review. Why haven't you left a review? And they're like, we already did. And then you get upset customers. So trigger link, so that we can pull them out as soon as they click to leave a review. We have a trigger link. All of these are going to be trigger links. Okay. So the email is going to be written out a little bit differently. Same thing and then on day 2, we're going to wait 1 day from the day that we closed out the job, 24 hours. The following day, we're going to also send them another text, and we're going and with a trigger link. So the text number 2 comes out with a trigger link. Once the text number 2 comes out with a trigger link, if they click that, we're not going to send them another thing. 6 days later, so exactly 7 days from the time that they had a service with you, that you closed out the job. So 1 week exactly. Maybe it was a Monday afternoon that you were able to get over there. You sent them an invoice. You got done with the service Monday afternoon, right? It's possible and it's highly probable to assume that they scheduled Monday afternoon because perhaps Monday afternoon is a good time for them. Okay. So directly 7 days after the scheduled call, we're going to send them one final text and one final email asking for them to leave a review. And we're going to do this by way of, you probably guessed it, a trigger link, because we still want to know if they clicked on that. So Now I'm going to show you exactly what's going to happen because of that. Okay. So, how do we get them in there in the first place? Do we got to go through and click request a review, add that contact tag to every contact? Well, no, no. What we should do is we're going to create a workflow specifically for connecting our CRM to our other CRM, essentially, our marketing platform. Okay. So, how I do it typically is, since we're using Housecall Pro, the first thing I want to do is I want to tag that the reason why this customer is in the CRM is because of a Housecall Pro job was completed and that was sent over here. So we're going to tag it with Housecall Pro job complete. You can do CRM job complete. You can just do job complete something. I prefer to tag as many different things as possible on each contact so you can kind of understand the journey of the customer and exactly how they got in front of you when you're looking at them wherever they're at. So we're going to tag it Housecall Pro job complete. Okay, that's going to put a tag right on that contact so that we can search through it later if we want. Then we're going to add the tag request review. Now, what happens if we add tag request review? You're right. You're right. As soon as we add the tag request review, that is one of the triggers for our review campaign. So as soon as a new customer comes through here, boom, they shoot through. Now, this is one of my patented, this is what I do. I do that. I don't know why I do this with most of my workflows, just because like I feel like somebody's going to go through and I'm not going to understand what happened. So I typically put a hold step at the end. You don't have to put a hold step at the end. Customers just start stacking up here, and then I can go back through and see who basically went through each workflow and make sure that there wasn't an issue. Don't worry about putting a hold step. Like I said, that like I put it here, a hold step for further build in case I wanted to throw somebody else through something else. Anyway, don't worry about that hold step. You don't need it. They can go ahead and leave that workflow. Only thing we're doing there is we're adding the tag of request review. Because when we go into our reviews here, we know that, like I said, the trigger to fire this whole puppy off is the contact tag. Request review was added to that contact. And so we're going to need to set that up to where we're going to add the lead to that workflow to add the contact tag request review, which just sets the whole thing off. Okay. All right. So connect a new account. First and foremost, it's going to make you sign in to your HighLevel account. There we go. Okay. Hit next. You're going to just select the account that you're going to be using. Jeez Louise, where's that? All right. Now we're connected. I recommend if you're doing this and you have multiple clients or whatever that run the same operation, I highly recommend you name everything because it gets very convoluted when everything is a lead connector or a Housecall Pro, right? So we're going to go ahead and edit connection name, and I'm going to move this to review video lead connector number 3. Okay. That works for me. So now we're connected. We're going to add the lead to the workflow, but now we can need to configure it. So we're going to tell it what workflow we're going to add it to. So we're going to go in. It should have established connection to your HighLevel account. And so you should be able to see all of them. So our request review workflow is exactly what we wanted to go into. Our CRM to HighLevel, jobs complete, request review workflow, right? And then here you're just going to map the fields. So all the fields that come in, we're going to map them. First name, last name. This might not have full name. It'll do it automatically. We'll do mobile number, email. So you just map every single one of these fields. Okay. And it's Pretty simple. It's whatever you have on the other end. If you want to bring the tags over, you can bring the tags over. If you want to bring, it depends on how you have everything done on your inside your CRM. But just click through there and map exactly how the information from over here should translate into the information over here. Because what's going to happen as soon as this fires, you're going to, right now, what's going to happen is as soon as it fires, we're going to create a contact inside HighLevel with the customer's first name and last name. And then it's going to have their phone number and it's going to have their email. And even if they gave you an entire life story, we're not going to have anything else get put into HighLevel. And it's because we did not map it to the field. So you can bring any information over, but you have to map it. Okay. So that it knows what it is once it gets to the other side. All right. And so we're going to go ahead and push that through. And so you could test this at this point in time. And so you would send this customer through, make sure that it pops out on the other end. So let me just verify. I don't have anything set up on the other end. So we're going to go ahead and test this. And it actually should pop up inside our HighLevel. It won't do any of the stuff because I don't have email and I don't have phone connected to my HighLevel at the current moment in this other one. All right, so it should have went through. So if we come over here, let me go ahead and go back. Super slow when you're recording, by the way. All right, let's see. We've got one person came through our CRM to HighLevel. As you can see, for what just happened, that should be, and they're on that hold step that I put up in there. All right, beautiful. And then if we come over here and we look at contacts, you'll see that all the contact information for that person is there. However, I did not bring over all the information, right? So that was all just because I didn't map further into the information. All right, so now I've shown you exactly how we're going to connect not only Housecall Pro to Zapier, but I've also shown you how we connect Zapier to HighLevel. Okay, now really it just boils down to we have to build out the automations how we want them to operate. And you can feel free to customize this. I'm going to show you exactly how we build it out for our clients. All right, so we already know that we're going to be adding the tag request review. That's how we bring them in to our HighLevel, right? Yeah, we already know. Okay, well, let's go back over into automations. Let's look and see exactly what happens next and figure out how to get from where we're at right now to the final finished product of reviews coming into our business. All right. Now, we have added tag request review through our automation prior. What that does is it brings them into our basic review campaign right here because the tag was added. This is where we set up. So if we were going to build this out from scratch, we would immediately add a new trigger. And the trigger is going to be that the contact tag. So we're going to click contact tag as the trigger and the filter, the tag was added. Okay. And what was the tag? So the tag was request review. Okay. So when contact tag is added of request review, drop them into this workflow. That's exactly what we have over here. Confirm. All right, so that's exactly what we have over here. So when request review is added, okay, then we'll hit the plus sign. Whether you want to add a wait step or not, it's entirely up to you. So we would add a wait. That's what I typically do. I typically do an hour, 10 minutes to an hour somewhere. All right, and then we're going to hit the plus after that. And so at that point in time, we'll hit SMS. Okay, Send SMS. This is exactly what we want to happen. In order for you to be able to send SMSs to your clients, you must first apply for A2P, which is a government regulation that basically just means that the scammers are the only ones that are able to message customers anymore without going through hoops. No, not really. Okay. A2P, all that is it's just a new government regulation that basically kind of is trying to prevent scammers and spammers in the space. Whether it's doing a good job, I'll let you be the judge. It is a new requirement for us to be able to text our customers legally. And unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do to skirt these rules, especially if you're using a service like High Level. And it is what it is. If you guys want another video explaining exactly how to do the A2P 10DLC registration, leave a comment down below. I'm not going to lie, it is ever evolving and ever changing. So even though I have done a video of this in the past, it has now been removed because it no longer is applicable, because they are updating and making the rules more stringent as we go. Anyways, feel free to comment down below and I will make an updated version of our A2P 10 DLC registration. Otherwise, just look, there are some other YouTube videos out there that hopefully are up to date. But just keep in mind that even though it's on a video that's relatively recent, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's accurate, because it does change on a daily basis. All right, so the first step is we're going to send our email. And so, I mean, we would just start it off with something like hello. And then if you hit this little button right here, which is custom values, you can say contact first name. Perfect. And then you just write something like, thank you for using our service, blah, blah, blah. It would mean, oh, wait. So for this, in order for the regulations to be accurate, so this is Mark from, and then you'd put your company name, which you could do it with custom values if you want. So you just do company name. Thank you for using our services. It would mean a ton if you would leave us a review. And so I don't know why that went caps. I'm not even gonna worry about it because this doesn't matter. But then we know we want to use a trigger link, right? So we want to use a trigger link so that we know if they clicked the link. How are we going to do that? Well, this fancy little thing right here, we can select trigger links. Problem is, we haven't set one up yet. Let me go to the trigger links. Okay, so if you go into marketing on the side, you'll look up top. There is a trigger links area. We are going to add a link. Now, I have Google and Facebook, but if you're just doing Google, we just need a Google trigger link, right? So we're going to do, I still have that caps lock on. So we're going to do Google review link. Okay. Now, what is the review link URL? So I, I actually have mine set up as a custom value, but that's because we deal with a lot of businesses. Yours, however, is literally just go to your Google business profile. Can't even, man, I can't type. Anyway, it still pulled it up. So you'd go to your Google business profile, you click on ask for reviews. We click the review link right here. Okay. And then you go back over and we would paste that in right there. Okay. And then once you have pasted that in right there, now you have a trigger link that is your review link. I'm not going to say that because I've already got a Google review link here. And now we're going to go ahead and apply that to our automation. So now we want to say, leave us a review with our Google review link. Cool. Cool. Done deal. save that action, right? I'm not going to save the action because I've already got this built out over here. Anyway, you're going to do the same thing with an email. You're going to write out an email that's something personal, like we, blah blah blah. Anyway, here's the one. Hey, contact first name. We really appreciate the opportunity to serve people like yourself. Can you please leave a review for my business here? And then what we do is we select the area to make it a link. We click right up here to add link. And then looky here, click the little button. We're going to put a trigger link right there. So we're embedding the trigger link basically. Okay, cool. We tell it we want to open it up in a new window. Takes less than 30 seconds. Here's our business owner's first name, business owner's last name, and business name. Done. You can go ahead and test it by sending that email to yourself so you can see how it looks. You can use templates if you want. You can build out a template to make it look like all pretty and stuff. It doesn't need to happen because most people will actually read the text stuff more than they'll read like a website looking thing. And then we keep going down. And so then we're going to send them the next text message. Same thing, trigger link. Then we're going to send them the next text message. Same thing, trigger link. Except for this time, if we're going to tell them that, hey, by the way, this is the last time I'm going to ask you for this because I feel like I'm bugging you right now. So, hey, this is owner's first name at business. We'd be so grateful if you could leave us a review. It really helps others. Thank you for the email. If you haven't had a chance yet, would you mind leaving us a review? It only takes a second. Your feedback helps tremendously. Thank you for choosing us. Now, you could say something like, you can change these wording. These are just generic. This is where I start at. So I typically like to understand the business a little bit better before we decide which way to go on the reviews, but make it humanized. Like, be a person. If you're sending a text message to somebody, so be legit, like don't be a robot. Ask. You're asking for a review that's literally going to help your business. Please, would you leave us a review? It does wonders. It does amazing things for a small business like mine that's going up against these freaking tech giants. Like, be real. Once you've gone through all that. So now, before you set this up and before you actually publish this review request, we want to go in here to our settings. We want to make sure that we set this up to stop on response so that we're not continually messaging them. Okay. We want to set this up for a during business hours kind of message. So we don't want somebody like all of a sudden we accidentally submit an invoice at midnight some night and then the person immediately gets a text message. We don't want that. Okay. So we'll set this up for during specific times of day and to stop on response. I don't care if they come back in or not, because there are some fail safes involved. All right. Now we need to build out our link clicking stuff. So here we build out this automation just to literally mark them that they clicked to leave us a review. They used a trigger link. Okay. So we're going to mark them that they clicked, and then we're just going to pull them out, which we already have it set up for stop on response, but this is going to be a fail safe. So trigger, easy. They clicked our trigger link. So the trigger is the trigger. Okay. Which trigger link did they click? They clicked our review link, our Google review link. Okay. Because they've clicked our Google review link, we're going to mark them with a tag that they have clicked our Google review link. And then we are going to remove them from the review campaign. Done. Okay. So they're out. You can go a little bit further if you want. You can create another workflow. We have another workflow over here. So you could go a little bit further and you could say, you can go ahead and add a tag that they did leave a review. But if they click the link It doesn't mean that they necessarily left a review. I'm not going to go deep into this one, but there are triggers in high level of a new review was received. And then we can use if else statements and we can tag according to what star rating they left or other things like that. And so we have a tag here. We can tag them that they left a Facebook review. We tag them that they left a Google review of a 5-star, of a 4-star, of a 3 or below, because then we can build out automations that can handle all the people that left a 5-star, all the people that left a 4-star, all the really crappy 3 stars. We can have an automation built out to do specific things, whether it be to, offer them some sort of service or what have you in the future. We can use this for future builds. Not necessary, doesn't have to happen. I just build that in there just in case we want to use that information in the future, because data is the most important thing. Data is the most important thing. So anytime you're doing anything, the more data that you have, the more beneficial it is. Even if you have no freaking idea what this data could possibly be used for. 6 months down the road, you might be like, oh man, I wish I had the data on this. And like, well, for whatever reason, I was collecting that data just because there was data out there to collect. I collected it and now we get to utilize it. So data collection, very, very important. Anyways, now we have specifically built out how we're going to go from job completed in a Housecall Pro, shoot that information over to Zapier, take that information and dump it into HighLevel, create a new contact, drop them into a workflow that's going to add a tag of request review. That request a review tag is now going to automatically drop them into a workflow where we're going to send out text and an email to request a review of our business. If somebody clicks the link, they will be removed from the workflow. If they do not click the link tomorrow, you're getting another message. And if you still haven't clicked the link 7 days after your purchase, after your service, after we mark your job as complete, 7 days later, you're going to receive the final text and the final email asking for you to please, for the love of God, leave a review for our business, because it dramatically helps our local rankings and it dramatically helps customers just like you know that our business should be the one that they're calling. We just need you to tell them. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you followed along. If you need to, watch it several times, get it down, just do the tasks as we're doing them. If you need more in depth, just leave me a comment below. I'll jump on with you and we can work this out together. Just let me know, shoot me a message, leave a comment down below. Don't forget, please like the video if you like it, and please subscribe and let everyone else know who could benefit from this channel to come over and subscribe. And if you haven't watched it yet, last week we showed you exactly the reason why we needed to do this in the first place. Feel free to watch that video right over here. We'll see you next week at Saturday, 9 a.m.